I opened the door, still brushing my teeth. There he was again. Same hoodie. Same mop of black hair. Same brown paper bag with extra dumplings he never charged me for. Late again, I muttered. He smiled like always. Building's old. Elevator's worse. But this time he didn't leave. He stood there, shifting on his feet, like he had something else to say. Then came the words I wasn't ready for. Don't pay rent next month. I choked on foam. Excuse me. He held out a notice stamped, official, heavy. Property ownership transfer. And the buyer? Him. I laughed. Then stopped. He wasn't joking. You bought the building? He nodded once. Why? His eyes flicked to my sketchbook on the table. To the cracked wall behind me. To me. Then he said, because no one should have to beg to stay where they belong. And he walked off, like he hadn't just flipped my entire reality. I shut the door slowly. My heartbeat was louder than the hallway outside. The man I barely noticed, the one who delivered dumplings in silence, was now my landlord. And that wasn't the weirdest part, because what he did next was something no man had ever done for me before. First, I thought it was a prank. No way a guy who delivers takeout suddenly owns property in downtown Nanjing. But the next night, I came home to find my door open. I panicked, until I heard the soft thud-thud of paint rollers. He was inside. Hair tied up, shirt stained, painting my walls. I froze. He didn't look up. You said the peeling plaster made you feel like your life was falling apart. I never said that out loud. Only once on the phone. To a friend. While crying. He remembered. Stop, I said, heart racing. Why are you doing this? His hands didn't stop moving. Because when the world leaves people behind, someone has to stay. That shut me up. He didn't ask for thanks. Didn't try to touch me. Didn't even look me in the eyes. Just kept painting stroke after stroke like he was rewriting something with color. At midnight he left. No words. And on my table, a fresh bag of dumplings. Still warm. That night I sat against the drying wall, knees pulled to my chest. No one had ever painted my walls. Not my ex. Not my parents. Not even my landlord. But a delivery boy. No, a man who saw me struggling through thin walls and thinner smiles. He did. And I had no idea why. Was it pity? A twisted hobby? Or was there a reason he kept watching me from the hallway? Like he already knew me from somewhere I'd forgotten? The next morning I checked the lease records. His full name was there. Jiang Yichen. And when I searched that name, the first result made my blood run cold. He wasn't a delivery boy. He was something else entirely. I stared at the screen, heart pounding. Jiang Yichen. He wasn't a courier. He was the silent heir to a real estate empire. The kind of name whispered in finance blogs and luxury investment groups. Owns multiple high-rise complexes. Drives a car that costs more than my childhood apartment. So why was he delivering dumplings to my cracked door? And why me? That night I heard a knock. It wasn't him. It was Mrs. Zhang from 4B. She shoved a box into my arms. He said it belonged to the artist on the 5th floor. Inside, my old sketchbook. The one I lost 2 years ago at an art exhibition across town. I'd assumed it was gone forever. But every page was untouched. Except the last one. A new sketch. Of me. Sitting by the window drawing, unaware. The shading soft. Real. Intimate. He had been there. Watching. Remembering. My hands trembled. Was this sweet? Or terrifying? I searched for him all day. No answer. No delivery. Nothing. Until I went to the rooftop. There he was, sitting with his legs hanging over the edge like a boy who had everything, and still felt nothing. I looked you up, I whispered. I figured, he said. You're rich. Why pretend? He didn't look at me. Because money doesn't let you close enough to see people. Not really. Then he glanced at me, eyes tired. But you looked at me like I mattered. Even when I was nobody. I didn't respond. I didn't have a response. 'Cause I realized, this wasn't about charity. Or obsession. This was about recognition. Two people. Broken in different ways. And somehow through dumplings and drywall, He saw me, but what I saw next would change the entire story. I never meant to enter his place, but the building had a leak. Maintenance buzzed the wrong unit, and I followed the dripping sound to his floor. Door ajar. No one inside. Just paint cans, blueprints, and a small photo pinned on the fridge. I stepped closer. My breath caught. It was me, sitting in a bookstore. 3 years ago. Head buried in a sketchbook, oblivious to the world. I remember that day. My ex had just ghosted me. My rent was overdue, and I drew to keep myself from falling apart. But that photo? It was taken from across the room, by someone who had seen my sadness before I learned to hide it. That someone was him. I backed away stunned. Just then he walked in, saw the photo in my hands. Didn't flinch. I deleted the others, he said softly. Kept that one. Because that day, you looked like you were surviving something no one else noticed. I felt sick. Why me? I whispered. His jaw clenched. You were the only one who made sadness look like art. That should have creeped me out. But it didn't. Because I'd spent years begging people to see me. Now, I realized someone had. Quietly. Respectfully. Without expecting anything in return. You bought this building, I murmured. I didn't plan to, he said. Until I saw the eviction notice on your door. You saved me. He shook his head. No. You saved me. Watching you fight every day in silence. It gave me purpose. It reminded me that strength isn't loud. It's quiet. And constant. Tears burned in my eyes. Because for the first time my pain wasn't pitted. It was honored. But just as my heart began to open, a message flashed on his phone. From a woman. And the name? His ex-fiancée. I didn't mean to read it. But the message lit up his screen as he stepped away. Jiang Yichen, I'm back. I made a mistake. Let's fix us. There was a photo attached. Her hand. A diamond ring still on her finger. My throat tightened. Everything made sense now. The distance. The silence. The look in his eyes like he was trying to move on but couldn't. She wasn't just his past. She was the kind of woman his world approved of. Polished, powerful, perfect on paper. I was a woman with ink-stained fingers and a wall that had only recently stopped crumbling. He returned, saw my expression. I held up his phone. I shouldn't have. He took it from me gently. Put it down. Lock the screen. Then he said the one thing that finally shattered every guard I'd ever built. I didn't buy this building for her. I didn't stay because she left. I stayed because you never did. I blinked. I saw you before I had the courage to be seen. And I don't want a second chance with her. I want a first life with you. I broke. Right there in the hallway with peeling paint and cheap lighting, I broke open and finally felt whole. We stood in silence. Two stories that shouldn't have crossed. But did. Not because of fate, but because someone chose to stay. And in the end, he didn't ask for love. He offered shelter. He didn't rescue me. He respected me. And when I looked around the building I once hated, the one I almost left behind, I realized it wasn't falling apart anymore. It was finally becoming mine. Sometimes the richest hearts hide behind the quietest hands, and the home you're looking for might already be holding your keys.